Good morning, dear audience. This is Morten from INKISH. Ahead of me, I have a quite busy day. It's the last day where we are filming these online interviews about Hunkeler Innovationdays. And this morning, I have the pleasure of meeting Rob from Contiweb. So welcome to INKISH, Rob.
Good morning, Morten. Thank you for the invitation. Wonderful to be here.
Also wonderful to see you. And I was just about to say again, because we did a recording, I think a week ago, that didn't came across like we wanted it. So we decided to do another one. I think that most people in the industry know Contiweb from your winders, unwinders and splicers. Very, very briefly, tell me about that market.
Yeah, we started almost 50 years our journey in web offset. Main components were of course the auto splicing. We have many installations worldwide. We became a market leader in web offset. That is a fantastic, let's say fantastic journey. We don't only make design and make and produce these auto splicers. Hot air dryer, that is our core business. Hot air drying, chilling, and all web conditioning components. Mm-hmm. So that is what we took also, let's say, as a backpack to INKISH new products.
And that is great that you say that, because basically one of the things I didn't know about so much before, and when we spoke the last time, was basically you're quite big also in the inkjet space with also moisturizers and coating units. And I think that at Hunkeler Innovationdays that we're going to talk about in a moment is like something that, I mean, almost every web-based inkjet device need also that kind of technology, right?
Absolutely. And, also that is an experience we built out of web offset. We will focus on the Hunkeler Innovationdays on the fact that we have products with a high level of automation, so less labor, less operational interference, less making mistakes on machines. That is an important fact, because the end customer of our customer are not paid for downtime. They are paid for a beautiful product, but not for the downtime. So that's really a journey we had over close to 50 years. Mm-hmm. Coming back on the two focus points on the Hunkeler Innovationdays, one is the remoistener. Mm-hmm. It's an applicator device. So you have to imagine, Morten, we have over 600 devices in web offset doing that job. And I can't say that it is always remoistening, because it's always a combination between water and silicone. Applying silicone onto a web, on a fast running web, is giving you this nice lubrication, that it doesn't get stuck in the folder section, that it doesn't get stuck in the cutting section. Mm-hmm. And we took that experience, and we were actually a little bit surprised to see that this works in inkjet. It's a different, it's the same paper, where you talk about the same substrate, but different inks. Mm-hmm. But it works perfectly, and we designed.
I was just because I mean basically it's funny because when we look at the inkjet OEMs, all of them are. I mean the biggest job they have is to get rid of the water as fast as possible, but it has a downside to the let's say the properties of the paper. So basically you want to get it back to normal, right?
And we try to fix it. That's what you do, indeed. As also in web offset, being a manufacturer of hot air dryers, we know what it is to really brutalize the paper. You take every moisture out, because you are, let's say, drying the ink, and unfortunately that also means taking water out. Mm. So what you will see is the paper is brittle. It's if you fold it, it can crack. You see maybe a wave. You have some curling aspect when you see, let's say, heavier paper stocks. And we try to repair it. immediately admit we try, because 100% going back to the base paper, it's almost impossible.
Is it so that when you add the moisturizing to a paper, is it? I mean, I think that every printing company in the world has seen how important it is to have the right relative humidity to the paper when printing, depending whether it's toner based or offset based or inkjet based. Do you take into consideration where, let's say that you have a relative humidity of X? Is the level of moisturizing, is that to get it back to X, or is that just applying some kind of moisturizing just to bring it back to anything? Or
that is right what you say, Morten. You try to come to a level that it is base paper again, but actually what you are doing, you try to put as much as water in to get a stable product, that the surrounding atmosphere, so is it humidity, is it temperature, the combination, not influencing your final product.
Because if you have a printing company in a dry area or in a humid area, basically your moisturizer will also take that into consideration.
Yeah, actually you are setting the amount of water, and by setting the amount of water, you're not sure what the relative moisture content will be, but you will learn. I mean, that is something that it's always, we can give some basic rules, which we do, and the training session, of course, starting with the unit, and then you find yourself, call it the sweet spot. Then you see, in my environment, with this type of production, I have these settings, and you store it, you keep it, and the next time, and that is beautiful about our system, we have a closed loop system. That means what you provide in a tray by an applicator roller, it's brought onto the web. And we always measure the amount of fluid. So the preparation there is important, because that gives you a repeatability. So the next time you have the same job, the same conditions you can, let's say, use.
Yeah. So that means basically how much of the water, how much of the polymer or whatever you add to the silicone or whatever you add to it, basically you can recreate the environment by adding exactly the same amounts of fluids.
Exactly.
Along
So
with the settings of the machine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because that is also vital for a printer to understand the next time he's sure that the right amount of water is coming. I'm putting something else that is silicone. So if you say I have a real to finish product, then silicone will help you to get a smoother process without any concerns of, let's say, damaging your paper, damaging the ink. But it's also help you to stack the product easier. That are experiences we took from Web Offset. And in this case, you see that the combination, we make the control so that if you put more water, the silicone stays stable. That doesn't hurt the amount of silicone, or the other way around. So also the controls are independent. We will make sure that regardless of the speed of the web, the amount of moisture will, let's say, brought back into the paper, or amount of coverage of silicone will be added on the surface.
In these days where everybody, is talking about sustainability and environment, does the process where you add silicone, does it influence anything in the de-inking processes or any of the sustainability processes?
Now, of course, silicone, you try to avoid, let's say, chemicals or other raw materials. But for silicone, it's pure. We use no emulsion, so also no additives are added to the silicone. It's a pure silicone. Yeah, I'm Morten. I always make the joke, if you can put it in a human body, I don't think that this is a danger for human life.
No,
tasting it, I won't advise. Tasting it, I won't advise.
Okay. But I mean, the reason I'm asking is just because, I mean, if you look at the entire process from the let's say the raw paper to have a finished product. I think that a lot of brand owners have so many things to take into consideration. So I think it's good to declare that it is safe to use from an environmental perspective.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and if you look at the material itself, it's silicone, but since we use it pureness, but also the water, Martin, we don't use special water. It's just tap water. So make the life of the operator, make the life of the complete operation simple. Raw material, silicone, which you don't ever or every time need to use it. You can decide, you can also switch it off. And on the water side, it's just drinking from the tap. So also there is just the connection to the machine. It's there. It's one unit. We learned a great deal in Web Offset with what we transferred to Digital Inkjet, which actually is the same environment. You're talking to the same printers with the same philosophy. They only judge you based on the quality, what they see at the end of the line.
Is it common for also in digital inkjet to use your products for remoisturizing, or is it still like something where people, they think they buy a machine and then it works, or because I mean, if you look at the Web Offset guys, of course they know because they have worked in this area for a long time, and in maybe if you have a transactional print, maybe it's not that important to have these properties because often it's just
also drying process is less in that case, Martin. It's come to drying process.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at today, where we're realistically talking about replacing offset with inkjet, for example, the ink coverage is of course way higher than it is on transactional print. So I was just curious if people, when they buy a press, do they know that they have to have the moisturizing machine
over
as
the
well?
last couple of years, I can see a change. I speak to every, let's say, print provider, and everybody comes to the same conclusion. In some areas, you typically do not use, and still you don't need to use it. It's like the transactional, what you're talking about. It's also to do with the drying capacity. If you have a high drying demand because you put a lot of ink on paper,
then you of course need more moisturize. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was I right that you also have a coder? I can't remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is the great fantastic, because we were so anxious to present it to the world already a couple of years ago. With Corona, it was a headache. We did so many webinars and all kinds of presentations, but to put that into the market, that was tough. And also the last time Hunkeler Innovationdays was postponed. So we are ready. And of course, a little bit of the background here, Martin. In the past, for Web Offset, we also building Anilux coaters. And we saw how complicated it is if you would like to transfer that to inkjet. The reason is to say inkjet is very flexible. Every page can be different, the situation can be different, smaller runs. And if you think about coating, you can build a primer coater, you can do a post coater, which we do, but we use another technology, which is less demand of operational interference. So in other words, keep it simple. You don't need to exchange rollers with our coater. You don't need to exchange sleeve. We can set up the coat coverage, the coat layer, in such a way that is just pushing a button and the system will do the job. And that counts also for the web width. And the outcome, I mean, I can show you on Hunkeler Innovationdays, and please be welcome, and also to the audience, please be welcome. We have some samples to prove that with this coater, we can apply a good coating.
And
but
the code is
technology.
Sorry to interrupt. Is a coating like the coatings we know from offset, where you can have a matte varnish or a gloss varnish or a satin varnish or any kind of varnish? So basically, it's an application unit that can basically use whatever varnishes, or is it also special varnishes?
Sure. we are not, let's say, so experienced in special varnishes, but we've done a great amount of, let's say, sample making for gloss, for matte, for protection, and we have some samples to show you. So that is let's see at least what I can bring, because the device itself was a little bit a headache to bring that to the show, because I cannot show it as a standalone unit.
Yeah. It
And
needs to be
have
built
all
around
things around
something.
it.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
But we have yeah.
What about? I mean, as far as I remember, when you have an offset machine and you have, let's say, aqueous varnish or dispersion varnish, then you need IR to make it dry again. Do you also need some drying capacity on?
Here, and I'm kind of sorry to interrupt you because I'm so enthusiastic about that product. Here we brought in our experience of hot air drying. So we know how to dry a web. Both sides, gently, with hot air. Of course, we use it in combination with the infrared emitters. So on the air bars, there are emitters. And why? Of course, rapid changes of the situation, think about speed, or think about the coat weight. You adjust the coat weight, which can be done on the fly. You need maybe to boost the system a little to give that additional energy. We use the infrared, but let's say about 90% of let's say the energy comes just from the hot air, and that is experience we brought in building. I think it's close to 1,650 dryers we have installed in the world.
That's a lot.
So, that's a no-brainer for us.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is very important to mention here. The operator doesn't set the temperature of that hot air dryer. The system realizes based on the coat weight what kind of temperature we need.
Again, seems to be
also
something
there is no. Okay, you can forget to switch it on.
Yeah.
then the light will remain red. Yeah. So
fantastic, Rob. So at Hunkeler Innovationdays, a lot of good conversations, a lot of samples to show, and I think that you also have some, maybe some case studies that you can share with people how efficient and your technology works, right?
Absolutely. I won't say that we are, let's say, put it a little bit in the middle, everywhere spread and accepted. But we have a device, a remoistener active on the screen press. We have a static unit in the booth. We have the samples for the coater. And we have some good footage to show that we are really expert on automation. And that is the connection I would like to make with the Hunkeler Innovationdays. They talk about next level automation. We are there with a high level of automation because we put that already in our design. And that is, also the experience I can tell our customers looking at the final product. Again, their customers are not paying for downtime. And then I come to, let's say, one more thing. We have a 24/7 service department, which taking care about you. That means from start till the rest of the life, we can take care of you. We have a good connectivity to our machines. We always advise that to have it, because as well for the remoistener, but also for a coater system, you cannot see from outside of the dryer is working properly. We can see, because we can monitor, we can advise you what is happening. So also there's a great thing to discuss on the Hunkeler Innovationdays, that we are not a company just putting you and selling you a nice device, but also have, let's say, a great eye for productivity and running in future.
And with that said, Rob, I would like to thank you for taking time. I know you had a busy week, and we had to put it in a little before my normal show started at 9. So here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time here.
Okay,
and I look forward to see you, and I look forward to see some great samples in Lucerne in just 17 days from now, basically.
Yeah. We're counting down. Perfect. Thank you for the invitation again, Morten, and for this interview. And I wish you a good working day and a good weekend and a good journey next week, because I think you are also traveling heavily before still.
I am, yeah. Thank you very much, Rob.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. See you
Bye-bye.
on the Hunkeler Innovation Days. Bye.
Definitely. Bye-bye.